Thank you for tuning in to Choices Now TV. I'm glad to be back with you once again. So I'm going to be talking about something today that's, I won't say it's common, but it does happen, especially in African Americans, the African American community. And this is regarding strokes. So I talked about heart disease, dementia. I talked about some other things in some of the previous videos. But today I'm going to be talking about stroke. Strokes in particular, TIAs. Recently I experienced some of the symptoms and signs of a TIA, and that's the meaning of TIA is transient ischemic attack. Okay, TIA. And this is not a major stroke, but it has some of the same symptoms. So let's go right into what some of those symptoms are and what you can look out for. Now, like I said, recently I had some of these signs. I had some numbness on the side. I had, my vision was very blurred. I had these headaches that were, just out of nowhere. But the difference with the TIA and an actual stroke is that the TIAs last for a few minutes to an hour, usually not longer than that. And the symptoms, they go away, they subside, but you do risk a chance of having them reoccur. They'll happen again. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what causes strokes, what are some of the things that cause strokes, and then what you should look out for, okay? So first of all, let me just say that a stroke, now according to the CDC, cdc.gov, and if you put in cdc.gov/stroke and signs, this information is there as well. I'm not just pulling it out from nowhere, but it's out there. And sometimes we have it, we know it, and we just don't take the proper care to ensure that these things don't happen. So with the stroke, or should I say a TIA or stroke, what this is we'll say a stroke. What this is when blood flow to the brain is disrupted, okay? A blood clot can block one of the vital blood vessels in your brain or vessels in the brain. Okay, and that's coming from hopkinsmedicine.org. So it's a clot. It's when the blood flow in the brain is disrupted. So there's a blood clot that can block not vital organs, but vital blood vessels in the brain. So you may know someone that's had a stroke. They came out of it. Some didn't come out of it, but these things do happen. So let's talk about what can cause a stroke. What can cause a stroke? Now, these are in no particular order, no certain order, but these are some things that can cause a stroke. And there's one on here that one that's not on here, and I'm going to talk about that in particular because it relates to me. So talk about high blood pressure, stress, depression, heart disease or heart disorder, alcohol. Now these are things that can cause strokes. Bad cholesterol levels, poor diet, lack of exercise, obesity, and also smoking. Those are just 10. But those are some of the things that can cause strokes. And they say the number one risk is high blood pressure. The number one risk is high blood pressure. So with that being said, we need to control our blood pressure. We need to control what we eat. We eat a lot of pork. People eat a lot of pork. They eat a lot of just fatty foods, greasy foods. So we need to control what we eat and how we eat, control the amount of exercise that we get. And even after doing all of that, you do everything that you're supposed to do, and you could still have a stroke. There's some factors that play as a result of things that we can't change. There's some factors that we can't change, but we can still have a stroke. So stay with me. Okay, so those things that we cannot change, for instance, we can't change our age. We're gonna age, we're aging. And as we age, we fall into this category of a risk, okay, for having a stroke, just simply because we're aging. Our family history. I know I had an aunt, she had a stroke, she suffered a stroke. My mom she called my mom went over to see her, and when she got there, her mouth was drooping to the side. You know, it was just drooping. And she was talking, but it was, you know, her speech was slurred. So it got her to the hospital, and she had back-to-back strokes while in the emergency room. She eventually suffered a severe stroke where she had to be in a facility, and she eventually died. But years later, she survived for quite a few years, but she, you know, she couldn't talk. She communicated, but she couldn't talk. She couldn't move. I believe it was the left side. That entire side was paralyzed. She had no movement in that. So, yes. Also race. And then it says here medical condition. You can have a medical condition, and they mention in particular sickle cell. We know that sickle cell is predominantly in African Americans and people of color, if I could say, have sickle cell anemia. Now, what I found, one of these, it says bad cholesterol levels can cause stroke. Now, I went on an all-vegan diet for about 6 months. 6 months. Cut out all the meat. I did all of this because I wanted to lower my cholesterol. My cholesterol was not very good, and I knew the risk of heart and stroke disease. You know, those are things that I'm facing. I could face, they say, because of the numbers. So I cut all that out. So when I went back to the doctor, my levels were through the roof. I mentioned this before in one of the other previous videos. My levels were just through the roof. Why was that? It was the medication that I was on. I was taking a medication for one thing, and although it helped, but it created this problem with the cholesterol. Although I already had, my cholesterol wasn't good as it was, but it continued, excuse me, it was worse. It was worse. So even though you do all the things that you're supposed to do, you still, it's like some things don't correct. They don't correct themselves. You can exercise, you can change how you eat, you can stop the smoking, stop the drinking, stop doing all of those things, but you still run a risk. So what can we do? Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to exercise, continue to eat well. That's all we can do. Continue to exercise, continue to eat well. Let's watch our weight. And I said our weight. These are things that we have to do. We can't let someone else do them for us. Someone can't do it for us. So we can get surgery to lose the weight, but we still have to exercise. We have to exercise. I'm not a component of exercise. I'm sorry. I'm going to be joining the gym just to try to, increase my exercise. My doctor encouraged me to, even with my condition that I have, exercise is encouraged. Even when I don't feel well, this thing, you exercise. When it's too bad, then you don't. So you do what you can do. So let's talk about some of the signs. So I wanted to talk about some of the signs we should look for concerning strokes. Some of the signs we should look for. Okay, so you're looking at numbness, and I have bifocals, but vision is a little blurry right now. So, but these are some signs that we should be looking for when there's a stroke. So you may experience some of these, but you just kind of write it off. So there's numbness, paralysis in your face, arm, or down the entire side of your body, be it left or right, slurred speech, blurred vision, a sudden inability to understand others is also a sign. Now, you may experience blindness or double vision, severe headaches out of nowhere, loss of balance. These are also, they can come on suddenly. and usually lasts a few minutes to an hour. Now this is talking about the TIA, the mini strokes. But you have some of the same signs, if not all of the same signs, for a regular stroke. The only thing with the regular stroke, it's gonna last, okay? It's gonna last. You're gonna have some things that are happening. It'll be, it'll be a definite, you'll be able to notice them, significant changes in your body concerning what we just talked about, that numbness. Let's not overlook these signs. Let's not overlook the signs. You know, we're so busy. We have so much going on in the course of our day that we overlook things. You know, we just think we have a headache because we didn't eat that day, or we didn't take our medication, or whatever the case may be, we tend to overlook it. So I want to encourage you not to overlook these signs. If you are experiencing any of these, you do want to go to your emergency room. You want to contact your doctor so that you can get checked out. Okay, so that you can get checked out. Let's not overlook it. You know, I had a cousin that recently had a situation, a stroke, and you know, it was one of those things. I don't know all of the details, but it happened. It happened, and it could happen to any of us at any moment. So we want to make sure that we're doing all that we can do to promote good health within our bodies, because tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So I'm not going to stay long. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I just want to touch a little bit on strokes. I know on my father's side, strokes run in the family. It's, you know, like they say, there's some things you can't change. You can't change the fact that we're going to get older. We can't change the fact that it's in our family history. We can't change our race. It is what it is, you know. But even with all of those things in place, according to the CDC, we can do some things to help prevent. Okay, so I just want to encourage you, if you're not exercising, let's start exercising. Let's do all we can to help this body. All right, so until next time, thank you for tuning in to Choices Now TV. It's my pleasure to come to you. And if you like the content, do like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, I'm out.